Arsenal have reached a new agreement. During an international break where the Gunners are once again firing, Andrea Berta has also made some moves. So today we'll break down another Bukayo Saka masterclass, as well as finding out what's happened with Gabriel Magalhaes. We'll reveal the truth behind the future of Miles Lewis-Skelly, as well as breaking down Arsenal's newest agreement that could massively change our future. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Baz14. Welcome back to your boys channel, and I hope you guys are surviving during this international break, which is boring, but Arsenal have something happening behind the scenes, which we are gonna break down. So as per, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you are new, helping your boy as we get closer and closer to 250,000 subscribers. But starting off with Arsenal 2, Serbia 0, as Arsenal's England boys starred once again for their country, having now won all 7 of their World Cup qualification games, with 20 goals scored and 0 conceded. A country, of course, with many Arsenal players an integral part of. In this game specifically, it was 2 Arsenal boys on the score sheet, Eberechi Eze and Bukayo Saka, both scoring very hard chances, with Saka scoring from a 0.02 XG and Eze from a 0.03. The Arsenal boys thriving for England is nothing new, especially when it comes to star boy Bukayo Saka. After another game, another goal, and yet another player of the match performance, as Bukayo Saka started and dropped the 8.1 Silver score rating, with 1 goal and 1 key pass, 2 accurate crosses, as well as 36 accurate passes, 3 shots, 1 on target, and 2 out of 2 dribbles. Starting on the right hand side where there's been so much speculation, with the form of Noni Madueke in previous international break, was Bukayo Saka still a guaranteed starter? And now we can sit here and say confidently, what a stupid question, as Bukayo scored yet another lovely volley. After a deflected shot fell to him, Saka was able to place it into the back of the net. The goal of a poacher who now has 3 goals in his last 3 games, and for his last 3 games for England, that is now 3 goal contributions. Having now scored the same amount of goals for England as Paul Scholes, he needs just 3 more goals to equal England legend David Beckham. When it comes to Bukayo Saka playing for England, the numbers are simply incredible. In 38 starts, 23 goals and assists, and an insane 12 Man of the Match awards. Those of course range from the World Cup to the Euros to of course international qualifiers. Wherever Bukayo Saka plays for England, a goal and a Man of the Match performance at this point seems inevitable. But in a game that he was spotted pointing towards the England bench, looking like he wanted to come off, he was actually asking to change his boots. But for a man that is playing for Arsenal week in, week out and now for England, it's only right to ask the question, when is this guy gonna get a rest? Thankfully, when it comes to Arsenal, the return of Noni Madueke, the same right winger that Bukayo is competing with for England, the fact that Arsenal have 2 of the best right forwards in the entire Premier League gives Mikel Arteta a fantastic opportunity to give Bukayo Saka a bit of rest. But in a game where he was not the only Arsenal star boy thriving, flowers must also be given to Eberechi Eze, coming off the bench and scoring a worldie after a decent pass from Phil Foden that was bobbling towards it. I'm not trying to hear about the assist more than the goal itself, because the finish was simply sublime, placing the ball into the top right hand corner, as Eze dropped a 7.1 rating off the bench, with 1 goal and 1 key pass, as well as 2 shots and 2 on target, 1 hitting the woodwork, and 1 big chance missed. But the key of Eze's cameo isn't the fact that he scored the goal, it's where he was actually playing. On the left hand side as shown by his team, after multiple games starting for Arsenal as our number 10, Arsenal fans are now starting to understand Eberechi more and more as a player. After years of thriving for Crystal Palace on the left hand side, seeing him come off for England and have a similar impact, once again playing on that same flank, this is where things get very intriguing for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. The whole idea of finally being able to start Eze on that left hand side, where of course you currently have Leandro Trossard, the return of Martin Odegaard alongside Zubimendi and Rice in midfield. Now you have the info Bukayo Saka on the right hand side, to then have a creative outlet like Eberechi Eze on the left, with a Victor Gyökeres, Kai Havertz or Gabriel Jesus starting as a striker. The amount of creativity that Arsenal are about to get could absolutely be game changing, because in a year where Arsenal still are top of the Premier League, with all the talk of Man City growing into an increasing threat, for Arsenal the maddest thing is that we are still yet to see our fully fit attack play together on a consistent basis. So yes, they may have Erling Haaland, but when you think about Arsenal and our entire variation, all the different profiles that Mikel Arteta has available to his usage, let's just say Arsenal are yet to even fulfill their potential, yet still we are clear top of the Premier League. As Eberechi Eze has recently said, it's a good environment, I'm settling in well. As time goes on, I'm going to become a lot more comfortable and understand players and people around me. I'm just happy it worked out this way. I'm enjoying myself here. It's only a matter of time. Then you have David Raya Spain. After being called up once again, as Spain take on Georgia and Turkey, Raya has been speaking to the Spanish media, and let's just say we've got a statement of intent. As David Raya says, of course we are Arsenal. We want to win the Premier League, but we want to win everything. That is why we play for Arsenal. So as Spain took on Georgia with David Raya sat on the bench, you did have Martin Zubimendi and Mikel Merino starting, in a game where the Arsenal number 36 was thriving, scoring a lovely goal in that final third, arriving into the box, followed by a fantastic finish. In a game that Zubimendi dropped a 7.6 overall score rating, 83 accurate passes, 1 total shot and 1 goal. Another example of his excellence in that final third. How often do you see a number 6 arriving into the box as a striker and then finishing with that level of composure? But one also player that wasn't started for his country was Italy's Riccardo Calafiori, as Italy beat Moldova 2-0 in a game that Calafiori wasn't even on the bench. As confirmed before the game by Ryan Taylor, Riccardo Calafiori missed the game for Italy due to a hip injury. Calafiori has been following a separate training program away from his international teammates this week, which is kind of a concern because if he's gone with a hip injury, the question is why is he even there for Italy in the first place? According to Italian source Repubblica, Gennaro Gattuso and Gianluigi Buffon have strongly encouraged Italy's players to prioritise the national team and World Cup qualification, even when they're not fully fit. This commitment is cited as the reason why Riccardo Calafiori still joined the Azzurri squad despite having a hip problem. Having not qualified for a single World Cup since 2014, missing out on back-to-back World Cups, despite winning Euro 2020, you can understand why there's a lot of pressure on this current crop of Italian players to finally get them back to where they believe they belong. But in a group alongside Martin Odegaard's Norway, where Italy are currently second, it looks like World Cup qualification is going to be secure. But in the case of Arsenal and Riccardo Calafiori, in a year that we are under so much pressure to get over the line and win that title, for a player that has started every single league game for Arsenal as a left back, it's definitely not something that you want to see. A player trying to play through injuries, with reports now coming out that he may even miss Italy's following game. But according to Simon Collins, although Calafiori's hip problem is not believed to be serious, Arsenal hope that he will be fit to play against Tottenham in the North London derby on November the 23rd. And then it was officially confirmed Riccardo Calafiori has withdrawn from the Italy squad due to a hip issue and will now return to Arsenal. A part of an Arsenal defence that has been insane in 2025. The numbers of course have been talking for themselves, but now we've even got a graphic showing how much space does each team allow in the Premier League in 2025-26, with red being less space and blue being more. Arsenal of course being second on this list. When you zoom into the numbers themselves, they are quite simply insane. Not a single part of the pitch where Mikel Arteta's Arsenal give any team a single ounce of space. You look at the right hand side of the Arsenal box and you can see that Arsenal are very strong. But then you look at the left hand side, the same area that Arsenal conceded against Daniel Ballard, and you see a slight aerial weakness, but still by far the best in the Premier League. When you then compare it to the likes of Crystal Palace, a team that give you so much space around the box, inside the box nothing. As Mikel Arteta said for Arsenal back in 2024, we want to be the kings of everything. The whole idea of suffocating your opponents. The fact that Arsenal give you next to nothing is an integral part behind the number. When you talk about Arsenal not conceding goals and keeping clean sheets, it's not just the fact that we have an insane defence or insane goalkeeper, it's more the fact that collectively, Arsenal give you next to nothing. With the main part of course being Jurrien Timber, who now has the highest tackle success rate at a whopping 89.5% of any player in the Premier League this season. Unfortunately though, with the international break there's always a risk, and that was shown with the impact on Gabriel Magalhaes. Starting for Brazil at the Emirates Stadium, as they beat Senegal 2-0, but in a game that was a friendly, Gabriel was taken off in the 64th minute, holding his groin area with major concerns. As Carlo Ancelotti said after the game, "We are really sorry for this and really disappointed. To get to injury not playing for Arsenal is one thing, but in a game that was just a friendly, for Arsenal fans it will be that much more annoying." And according to Sky Sports News, yesterday when Brazil were doing their final training sessions at the Emirates Stadium before the game, Gabriel Magalhaes did warm up separately from the rest of the group because they were trying to manage his load. Now the wait will begin for all the reports, as Arsenal fans nervously wait to find out how serious is his Gabriel injury going to be. But moving on to Arsenal's new agreement. Yes, it may be the international break and yes, we may be busy, with even Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard flying over to Norway to celebrate with his teammate after a win against Estonia, all but confirmed a qualification for the World Cup next year. You've even had Arsenal get a nomination, as Declan Rice's free kick against Real Madrid has been nominated for the 2025 Puskás Award. We've all watched that go 1,000 times, we don't need to lie about it. But in terms of Arsenal behind the scenes, there's also been a bit of movement. As confirmed by Tammy Mokbel, Arsenal are in advanced talks over appointing Napoli's head of scouting Maurizio Machelli into a leading recruitment role. Machelli credited with unearthing the likes of Marek Hamšík, Kim Min-jae and Kavicha Kvaratskhelia, news that was then confirmed by Mr. Here We Go himself. As Fabrizio Romano confirms, Maurizio Machelli has agreed to join Arsenal as a part of the recruitment team, working under Andrea Berta. Machelli has done an excellent job in Napoli in recent years, and he's set to leave with Arsenal move imminent, with the deal set to be formally sealed soon. A role that Andrea Berta has been trying to fill for a very long time. You even go back to the summer, the name of Matteo Tognuzzi, trying to bring a scouting chief over to Arsenal. It looks like Andrea Berta has finally got someone over the line. But in terms of the man himself and Maurizio Machelli, he has developed a reputation as one of Italian football's leading talent spotters in recent years. When you talk about the likes of Hamšík, a legend for Napoli, but also very smart deals to the likes of Kim Min-jae, signing him in the summer of 2022 for a fee of just €18 million, the replacement for Kalidou Koulibaly, as Napoli went on to win the Serie A. Just 1 year later, Napoli were able to sell Kim Min-jae for a fee of €50 million to Bayern Munich. but a star name that will stand out to every single Arsenal fan, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, after starring in Napoli and helping them win the Scudetto. Then moving to Paris Saint-Germain and thriving there, playing a major part in the winning the Champions League last season. We saw him against Arsenal, we saw him cause us problems. To now have a man that has the ability to scout this player, a man that was scouted by Napoli, all the way from the Georgian League. There's a reason why Andrea Berta has brought this man to the Emirates Stadium. When it comes to Arsenal unearthing future gems going forwards, we've already seen the impact of Christian Mosquera, a player that Arsenal signed for just £50 million, and has turned out to be an absolute game changer. Andrea Berta is a man that knows his stuff, and as Tutto Mercato Web say, Maurizio Michelli is described as the ideal behind-the-scenes operator, a chief scout who extensively observes talents, builds relationships, and develops transfer strategies. Michelli is now reportedly heading to Arsenal, where he will work under Andrea Berta. Who does he scout and who does he bring to Arsenal? It will be very intriguing. But in terms of Arsenal and their own players, let's talk about the future of Miles Lewis Skelly, yet to start a single league game for Arsenal this season, after a breakthrough in 2024-25. Despite signing a new contract in summer 2025, the entire focus has changed as soon as he was left out of Thomas Tuchel's England squad. With Sky Sports reporting, a number of Premier League clubs are monitoring Miles Lewis Skelly's situation at Arsenal, but the club are not looking to sell any players this January. You even have more reports in the UK claiming Lewis Skelly's situation is now being monitored by a host of Premier League clubs, after England boss Thomas Tuchel said he needs more minutes to be considered in his squad. He may want to go on loan in January in search of those minutes, with the clubs keen being Everton, Fulham, West Ham and Nottingham Forest. Nah, that's just not happening. The whole idea of Lewis Skelly's future being under question has only become a situation after being left out of the England squad. When it comes to reporters looking for headline, the moment they see an opportunity, they will try their best to unsettle the fanbase and unsettle players. But when you look at the player himself, still 19 years of age, after so many minutes in 2024-25, yes, he might have Ricardo Calafuri and Piero Hincapié, but at 19, you're not meant to be a guaranteed starter. When you think about his talent, yes, it is undeniable. But after all the talk on Bukayo Saka and Jude Bellingham, the idea of them being given too many minutes at such a young age, I think it's only right that a 19-year-old doesn't have that same level of pressure. You don't have to be a starter at that age. And the funniest thing about Thomas Tuchel, having selected Lewis Skelly in the past when he's playing less minutes, following the international break and the quotes, where Mikel Arteta has given him starts in the Champions League, to then leave him out of the squad completely just doesn't make sense whatsoever. You then think about John Stones, who is a part of the England squad, having not started his single game for City in the league since all the way back in September. I'm not sure about you guys, my friends, but I'm sensing a little bit of double standards. Then you've got the future though of Leandro Trossard, after reports that he had agreed a new contract at Arsenal, not to increase the length, but more to increase his wages. Now according to Florian Plettenberg, Leandro Trossard's representatives are in regular contact with Arsenal, and there are ideas regarding a contract extension. However, nothing has been decided yet. For a player that has been integral so far in 2025-26, with 8 goal contributions in 14 games in all competitions, having started the most games of any Arsenal left winger on the left-hand side, of course in the Premier League, Trossard has been undeniably vital after yet another fantastic goal against Sunderland. But for a player 30 years of age, about a 10-31, in my eyes, Andrea Berta is going to have a dilemma. After a summer where Arsenal linked with so many left wingers, whether it was Rodrigo of Real Madrid, or even Antoine Semenyo, if going forward to Mikel Arteta, the next step is going to be getting another left forward, at one point you're going to have to let someone go. So whether it's Gabriel Martinelli or Leandro Trossard, I think Trossard is the more likely to be let go, while Martinelli has far more market value. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think is the best step to take in the future of Leandro Trossard? But then you have another Arsenal star boy thriving for England, and this time we're talking 15-year-old Max Dowman. After becoming the youngest ever player to ever play in the Champions League, he was once again thriving for the England under-19s, gliding into the box and winning yet another penalty, showing once again high level of ball manipulation, having now won his 4th penalty of his season for club and country. It is becoming a bit of a cheat code, the amount of times Dowman is able to get into the box and win his team penalty, and it all comes down to his elite level of dribbling, knowing how to lure defenders in and then move the ball at the very last second. It's not just for the England under-19s, but we have also seen it in the Arsenal first team, whether it was pre-season in 2025, or even in the game against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. You think back to the game against Nottingham Forest, on his first ever appearance in the Premier League, and Dowman was once again able to win a penalty. When it comes to Mikel Arteta looking at that going forwards, maybe it's something he can turn to. But in terms of Arsenal and their wide forward, we do have one that is about to make a return. We of course are talking Noni Madueke. After signing for Arsenal with a lot of controversy, some fans even making a petition saying no to Madueke. His start to Arsenal was definitely strong, but after a knee injury against Man City, a return may be pending, and as Madueke says on the culture at Arsenal, it's the best he's ever experienced, saying it's a team full of good people, and I think the culture around is the best I've ever seen. And yeah, no, in terms of the supporters, it was a bit dicey at the start, but on social media and stuff, before I came into the club, but bro, when I've been in the stadium, I haven't felt fans like this. I haven't felt that close to fans, and to be honest, in this stadium, having watched on the sidelines for the last few games, as Madueke says, it gives me a big boost, and I always love playing at the Emirates. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of the social medias, the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today, as Saka and Eze score for England. Madueke is about to make a return and Arsenal gets yet another agreement. So much to break down and so much more going forward. So my friends, I'll see you next time. Take care and in a bit.